Hello, this is Craig, and this is another mindfulness podcast. The theme for this one is movement and walking. And it would be very remiss of me to not mention mindful walking in these podcasts. It's such a powerful practice, and it's all about being aware of our bodily movements. And when we're walking, we tend to rush. We tend to be thinking about the future. We're not consciously present with our footsteps or the scenery around us. We're in our heads a lot of the time, and this future thinking incorporates an urgency, a rushiness, if you like, to your life. So, moving more slowly, taking your time, being more gentle with your footsteps, really noticing the ground under your feet, caressing the earth with your feet. This is what we're trying to do with mindful walking. So, when we walk, we tend to put our heel down first and then our front part of our foot down afterwards. So, I call this the heel toe maneuver. So when you're walking, you can concentrate on your heel toe as you walk, just noticing how it is that you walk. And you might even hear the sounds of your footsteps, especially if it's on gravel or something like that. All very good for mindfulness. And it's also good to walk somewhere nice, nature, in outdoors, and you're listening to birds and you're feeling the weather, and you're really noticing where you are. You're noticing your surroundings. It's also good to stop every so often and pause and breathe and just come back to yourself. Feel the ground again and look. Just look at where you are. Know where you are. It's good to notice when the mind wanders and goes into a rush, thinking about this, thinking about that. It makes us walk faster. So take the time, have a practice of mindful walking where you go out and you take your time. You're slow, graceful, gentle. These are the words we're after. You'll find that this kind of practice is very meditative in itself. You can breathe with your footsteps as well. Breathing in, I take one step. Breathing out, I take another step. That encourages slow walking. Or you can count how many breaths it takes how many steps it takes for an in-breath, for example. Might take 3 or 4 for you to do an in-breath, and account again how much it is for your out-breath. So you might be a 4-4 person. So it takes 4 steps, to have an in-breath and 4 steps to take an out-breath. And then you can kind of do mindful walking in a rhythm like this, where you're walking 4-4 or whatever it is that your breathing is doing. And then you can try and slow your breath as well, and that will encourage your steps to go slower. So there's many ways to mindfully walk. You can also, incidentally, just walk normally. You don't have to go as slow or anything like that. And it's quite useful if you're in a crowd of people or you're walking down a city high street. Not slow, and just walk normally. You're not bringing any attention to yourself that way. But you can also walk mindfully in that way. You can breathe. You can notice your breath as you walk. You can feel the ground under your feet. You can know that you're walking. You can be doing the heel toe thing. All of these things you can notice even if you are walking in a normal pace. So you don't have to go slow, but I would encourage going slow when you can, really taking the time to walk. And if you can combine it with sitting somewhere like a park bench, perfect. That'd be lovely mindfulness practice. And so I also want to talk about movement. There are mindful movements. It's obviously hard to demonstrate them on a podcast. However, there are the 10 mindful movements that you can Google. and you'll get a YouTube video of someone, in fact there's several, doing these mindful movements. And what you're doing when you're moving is, again, you're in-breathing and out-breathing with your movement. So while you're doing these things, you're not thinking, your awareness is taking over. So it's interrupting the flow of your mind for a moment. It's taking you away from thought process into being. And that's what we want. We're wanting more being in our lives that can help us calm our minds down, stop us rushing, stop us feeling so tense or anxious all the time. We're calmer, we're more composed, we're gentle with ourselves, we're kinder to ourselves. So yeah, do look those up. There are other things you can try as well. You can stretch, and if you are sitting in a chair right now, just practice stretching. Just slowly move your arms upwards over your head, just feeling that stretch. Just take your time, go slow, but really be aware of your body, be aware of your any aches or pains. Don't be with them for too long. If they're too uncomfortable, you can change positions and things like this. But it's good to move your body. And notice as well if you've been sitting for a long time, maybe you're at a computer at the moment more than not, and you could be on there for an hour or whatever and you haven't moved. I would recommend every hour moving. So stand up and feel the ground under your feet. You could even move, sort of sway forward and back on your feet. So you notice the weight moving from the heel to the toe area and back again. That's quite a nice mindful movement. You can also tap your face with your fingers and your head and go right above. I'm doing it right now. That can be really nice and calming. And you can tap down your arms just with your fingers, just like you're walking down your arms with your fingers, but really just feeling the connections, feeling your body. And wiggle your toes and your fingers, these kind of things. That's all movement, it's all mindfulness if you're aware that you're doing it. And I would recommend, as I say, every hour to get up and walk, even if it's just from one room to the next, and practice mindful walking while you're doing it. And what you're doing is interrupting the flow of thoughts, you're interrupting the busyness, the stress in your life, the things that you need to do. We're always doing, so it's good to intersperse the doing with a bit of being, even if it's just a few minutes. You might find you enjoy it so much that you do it for longer than a few minutes, and I would recommend being all day if you could, but I know that that's quite difficult. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say about movement and walking. Walking is very important, it's a very wonderful practice. There may be times when you can't walk, and also, if there's a disability or someone's in a wheelchair, then obviously mindful walking is not possible. But you can still do the movements, you can still feel your body, you can still tap your head and your arms, and you can still go outdoors and really feel the outdoors, notice the weather, notice everything. It will help. And interrupting the flow of your thoughts is always a good thing. Don't get too invested and caught up in them. Notice when you're thinking too much about something, try and come back to your moment. And walking and movement are two amazing ways of doing that. So just to finish, we'll do a meditation. It just be for a few minutes just to ground ourselves before we get on with our day. So I'll hit my little bell here, and here we go. Just get yourselves comfy. Just sit somewhere in a nice chair or on the floor if you want to. Close your eyes and let's have a go. So just begin by noticing your breath, noticing your in-breath and your out-breath. Feel the air as you breathe in. Feel the air as you breathe out. Breathing in, you know you're breathing in. Breathing out, you know you're breathing out. And notice if your mind wanders away from your breath. And if it does, just smile and gently bring your focus back to your breath. Breathing in deeply, breathing out slowly. And just notice the rise and fall of your tummy as you breathe in and breathe out. Just noticing that your body moves of its own accord. And just wiggle your fingers and your toes. Just notice how that feels. Bring your hands up to your head and just tap the top of your head and your forehead. Just move your fingers around your face, just feeling your nose and your mouth and your chin and your cheeks. And move round to your neck and just keep tapping, just noticing if there's any tensions. And then with your right hand, just bring your fingers down your left arm. Just tap all the way down to your hands. And then again on the right arm with your left hand. And then return to your breath, feeling the air as you breathe in and breathe out. And just visualize your breath entering your whole body from head to toe. Just releasing any tensions on your out breath. Breathing in that oxygen to every part of your body. And so just take another few conscious breaths. And then just when you're ready, just open your eyes, come back to where you are. Okay, so thank you for doing that short meditation and just noticing parts of your body and wiggling and tapping. These are good practices to do. They're very good when you're stressed as well, to just start tapping your body and breathe, always breathe. And you'll find that if you can kind of interrupt the flow of thoughts for a while, that it helps greatly with your thinking and your emotions. So, yeah, thanks very much for listening, and enjoy your mindful walks when you can get to them. And I'll speak to you another time. Bye for now.